Good day, and welcome to Far Reaches. We are four people from similar parts of the world who have wound up chasing different dreams and living different lives. We are Richard, Raleigh, Joel, and Micah. Richard and Micah are from Southeast Oregon, from two small ranching communities known as Pine Creek and Plush. Raleigh and Joel are from Northeast Oregon, from the Pendleton area. We met through college, mutual friends, and heard of stories of each other. Somehow wound up being at the same place at the same time. See, we live and work in different parts of the U.S. now and have all taken different paths to get to where we are. We all talk separately and live far apart. So we decided we should try and talk more together. We hope you come along and enjoy. Recording in progress. Hey, good day. How your mom and them? Welcome to the Far Reaches podcast. Once again, we're back. We're reaching. We're doing. We are here. We are 3 strong this week, which is better than normal. So I think you add us all up, you probably get 1. It's all good. So you got. We're again brought to you this fine week and every week by our good friends at B&K Auto Salvage in beautiful Grand Ronde Valley. There is an updated promo code, kids. Updated promo code for B&K Auto Salvage. Joel, can you guess what the promo code word might be? It's just one single word. It's kind of like what encompasses Far Reaches. And we'll give Richard a guess if Joel doesn't snag it.
The Reacher special?
No, it's only one word. Yeah, one word.
No, I don't know. Say
Richard,
Reacher.
Reacher. No, that was the last one. That was a previous promo code. So good job on that one. You got that right. The new promo code for B&K Auto is Malarkey. Promo code Malarkey. That's going to get you a little discount on those parts that get pulled for you and a little bump in that scrap price. So if you're buying, you're saving money. If you're selling, you're making more. That's our good friends at B&K. That's Mr. Bo. So yeah, promo code Malarkey just came out this week. So we're getting some action photos from Richard. If you guys are watching or are going to go watch this later, he's in the pickup with the cell phone. And hopefully surviving and doesn't get in too much of a scrap with the horseshoer. So we'll just see how that goes. We might catch this live. So Richard's still on mute, but it's all good.
Should keep his eyes on the right way.
I know he should. Luckily, he's probably in the middle of nowhere, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, he's got a better chance of something that's just running in front of him. So it's how it goes. But anyways, we'll start this week like we pretty much do every week, no matter how many people are here, with the patented reach around from the Far Reachers. So, Mr. Joel, since you're joining us fresh this week, how about you start the reach around?
Well, over the weekend was played a little golf with Kurt and Brian, and I was super hungover. I did not go well. I was really hungry and hungover. I almost couldn't see straight. Like, God, that was awful. It's not even worth playing at that point.
What did you do?
I shot 95 or 6, which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I just got back just now from playing 9 holes with my friend Anthony. He bought a set of clubs. He's a lefty, so he finally found a set of clubs on
nice,
on Facebook or something for $40, and they look like they cost about $40.
Nice.
But he's this is only his second time playing. I think he's going to take it up though. I think he's hooked. He had a few good shots today.
Oh, that'll do. That's 44. What it takes.
I shot 44. My handicap's down to like 15 at Birch Creek.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
be careful.
Down like 27 at the beginning of the summer.
That's a market improvement. Yes.
Yeah, there's a big difference between more than just what looks like 10 strokes between a 27 and a 15 or 12.
That's strokes. Like a 4.0 GPO down like the GPA, like the 2 of 2. You know, it's like, oh, it's only 2 numbers apart. Yeah, it's an order of magnitude difference, basically, and it kind of runs like a GPA too.
Then we had went to DP. Darren's reception out in Helix.
Oh, sweet!
Pretty good time. They had a taco truck, a donut truck. You know what? So the donut truck girls. and maybe you actually know what this is. I never looked it up. I meant to look it up, but the girls that were in the donut truck making the donuts, I was like, what do you get? People were talking about their outfits, and I was like, you guys Mennonites? And they said, yeah.
Oh, Hooterites, probably, or Hoots, yeah.
What? And then I was like, I don't know why I know that. I don't even know what a Mennonite is. I don't know why I somehow knew what they look like. What is it?
You probably watched Kingpin or something. Yeah, the Mennonite's like Amish light, so to speak. They'll have like some vehicles. I know Amish are. Yeah. So there's like Hooterites around Hermiston and stuff. Because that's another form of them from Canada. Hooterites, the Hoots.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, just saying.
Make damn good donuts. And, yeah, that was about it. It's been my world.
Dang.
I'll take questions if you have any.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why donuts? Yeah.
Oh, and they had a nacho bar too, in addition to the taco truck.
Oh. That sucks.
Good day, and welcome to Far Reaches.
Are you listening to the last one, trying to catch up?
Yeah, I don't know if we went unlive or I was tuned in on the live broadcast.
Oh, well, nobody could hear anything. I thought. You're on last week's? Yeah, because the introduction wouldn't be.
No, I was just on our live one on my phone.
Oh, was it showing up?
Aren't we live right now?
I just stopped it.
Oh, because no one was there?
Because nobody could hear it.
No.
We had the problem. I don't know what the issue was.
Yeah, that's
I mean, we'll have this recorded old fashioned and spit it back out, but I thought I had it figured out for the live. So, but maybe I did. Yeah. There's one other thing I can try. No. Anyway, we're still recording. Oh yeah, we're still doing the regular one. We're just not blasting it on the Facebook page right now. So we're just doing what we'll normally do. We'll download it, put it back together, and then throw it up on the thing afterwards. So yeah. So all as well as that's that. So
we need a Jamie to handle the tech side of these things.
Sure do. Yeah. I could just be nice just to be able to talk and not have to worry about anything else. Just
I don't know if this is a good time. I don't know no, you guys finish your Reacher hunts, and then I'll just tell you I finally watched Man from Snowy River last night.
Oh, outstanding. We got to hear about that. That's part of the Reach Around, I think, unless you will put it under best thing of the week.
Yeah, I'll put that under the best thing of the week.
There you go.
Even though nobody knows yet if I enjoyed it.
Yeah, either way, I think it's because you saw it, it's going to be one of my best things of the week. So, it's all good in the hood, I think. So, yeah, everything else still running. So cool. So golf, a little relaxation. Yeah, not a bad little reach around there, Mr. Joel. For those of you watching, Joel is up by the pool house, if you will, in a nice little isolated area. Nice place to run the podcast from. I like that, Joel. Got a little sun in the background, relaxing. Yeah. Just hope Big Daddy doesn't walk by in his banana hammock. Yeah, that would be. Shouldn't have given that idea. Yeah, that's going to be bad. Oh, is this thing on? Yeah, what's going on? You know where the weight room is? Oh, that's funny. I'll give my reach around since Bradbury still looks like he's Richard from Snowy River in his pickup. Had family up over the weekend. That was kind of fun. My cousin and her rugrats swarmed the place for the weekend. So we hung out by the pool. We barbecued a lot. Made brisket. Had a good time with that. So it's good just to catch up with them. They live about a couple, 3 hours away south of here. So every once in a while they get to come up and hang out. They call me Uncle Micah, even though I'm like their second cousin, but it's sort of like a uncle thing. So yeah, we don't get hung up on too many details. But yeah, that was a kick. And then connected with some old friends, an old friend actually I hadn't spoken to for a long, long time. We connected over over starting Friday, so that was cool just to catch back up. And like it's like we never stopped talking really. So like from like high school was like the last time we really talked. So that's been awesome, really cool. So it kind of reminds you like, hey, I'm pretty old, but B, I don't feel old, so it doesn't matter. So we just make it happen. But that's been awesome. So fun with that. And then just yeah, it was a good chill weekend. Watched a lot of golf too. The Open was on, and like the time difference was cool, so you could like turn it on like in the morning, and you had golf like early in the morning. Golf was on, so I was watching that at the office, and then over the weekend, the same thing as well. So I like that time difference. So
Yeah, that Morikawa won again, right? He's got a great swing.
he did. Yes, he's got a. It's really like interesting, like really slow backswing, and then like a distinct pause at the top. You know,
Really smart.
Nod to the gods, but yeah,
he's got my favorite swing.
it's pretty cool. I really like. It's like one of the swings I think about when I try not to suck when I play, because of that. Like really controlled and like backswing doesn't matter, dude. Like it can take you 5 minutes to get back here. It's what you do afterwards. So I think it's cool. But yeah, Louis came out strong and led for most of it, and Colin had a good second day, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and then back and forth, and then yeah, it was. And then I had Brooks Kepka in my my golf league, so he had a really strong last day. I think climbed up the charts quite well. So he ended up getting me some much needed points and vaulted me back into second place, I believe, in the Texas Amateur Professional Invitational Open Golf League. So.
Is this the the thing where you can only pick one golfer a season?
Yeah.
Or a golf. You can only pick that a particular golfer one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that one year with you, and I think I got dead last. So
I think it happens.
I am not cut out for that game.
I am a defending champion somehow by the grace of God on a sharp stick. And then, I snuck back into second place this week. So there's only, I think, four or five tournaments left on our schedule. So we'll see how that turns out. But it's fun to be back. At least I got to meet a bunch of the guys that are in the golf league again when I was over in Texas for 4th of July. We played golf. And so it was good to put names. I'd met him once a couple years ago, but it's like, we were playing a tournament and it was just kind of like, hey, and then to get this. And so it's been a couple years of trading barbs across the world on that one, and then to get to play golf again. So that made it even a little more fun to see everybody again and get a chance to say howdy and talk a little trash. Yeah. So we'll see how, because I was sitting in like, I don't know, 15th for quite a while. And then I had a couple decent weeks, and I never had like a outstanding week yet. I just haven't had a super crappy one either. And there we are. It's me and a picture of Richard's dashboard, because apparently we lost Joel. So as luck would have it, I don't mind talking to myself about other random things. So we're going to take this moment to really start off and talk about my good friend, the alphabet. No, I'm just kidding. Folks, these things happen. We'll do our best to keep on keeping on since we lost Mr. Joel for some reason. I think he was probably getting a text from somebody important, but Richard's back. I see camera moving around. He must have got the talking with the shoer somewhat underway. Camera's now upside down. For those of you who remember from a couple weeks ago, Richard's back at the ranch area where we saw the wonderful cow dogs and the skunk and that sort of thing. So one of our most talked about episodes thus far was the skunks and the open pickup door and the circling back of the dogs. I think I got some good comments about that. So it was highly entertaining. Yes. But Richard, are you ready to give us your reach around? Are you in a spot where you can do that?
Yes, I am.
Well, reach away, my good sir, because you got the gift.
Well, everything is completely foobarred in Lake County right now. So we got a approaching 400,000 acre fire that I think is going to slow down because we got a little rain last night, like 20 minutes, but it seemed to be enough to put it down. And everything's full of smoke. I should show you guys.
Yeah.
Watching. Normally there's wait, didn't it work? Come on.
Easy. Flipper.
There you go. So normally there's like a horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Mountains out there, but you can't even see them. You can sort of see those over there, but yeah. And that's what burns is getting it worse. Our smoke worse than we're getting it. So,
Oh, yeah. I saw Colby had a picture up the other day from downtown or something, and it looked pretty harsh.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, and then the drought caused us to bring our cattle home about maybe 2.5 months early. So
Ouch.
we just brought 900 head off of the buttes. They'd been walking about 70 miles, so we're letting them rest today.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so that was a big cluster. Started a new diet. Really bad timing, but already lost 10 pounds, so that's awesome. Should have saved that for the best part of the week.
Good teaser. What's this diet thing like?
Oh, just paleo keto.
Paleo.
I haven't got to the keto part yet, which is I'm probably gonna have to keep eating and not intermittent fasting until probably through maybe until October, but I'll get there eventually. So crap. Real estate's busy, of course, right when everything else is busier than hell.
Always.
Man, my reach around is it's hard to keep my brain spinning. I've been up at 3 o'clock for the last 3 mornings, and then up at 5 this morning pairing up calves. Up until 9 last night working on the cattle. So yeah, I'm having tough time.
You get a little ringy after a while. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had to quit social media because I was being so ornery.
Yeah, I saw some of your posts. You seem a little dejected, so we got to get you charged back up.
Yeah, I didn't quit, but I figured I didn't need to be juggling human relationships online in the state my mind's at right now. So
you can take a little hiatus or a sabbatical, even if you feel one of those might be appropriate. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that's my reach around, and
I'm sticking to it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how things go. I may or may not make the entire episode, but I'm gonna give it my 100% try.
We'll do our damnedest. Yeah.
Did you talk about the? Did you already talk about the fire?
Oh, just a little bit, but yeah, want to know some more?
Like, how close is that to you, Richard?
It's about anywhere between 20 and 30 miles. It's actually threatening the north part, but it burned a bunch of structures about 30 miles in a town called Bly.
Damn.
It burned a house that we were selling, and when you burn a house, everything just off the table. So
there's no more table.
Pretty
That's
hard
why.
to sell a house that burned down. Yeah.
Well,
Picture, if you will.
It was like 2 days from closing.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how much you guys know about fires, but they really do a number on structures.
Yeah.
Well, I am one of those slower Pacific Northwest people, so I appreciate you describing that for me.
But what was that? I want to talk a little bit about that headline that from the AP that I sent you. It was like, that was talking about that fire down there. It was like, luckily nobody lives down there.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, thank Christ.
Thank God.
So we got that going for us, like, woo, that was close.
New York City journalists being like, nobody lives there. Who gives a shit?
It's like it's like no one of consequence lives there. Is more what I read. Or a lot of left-leaning journalists just write us off as cave-dragging Neanderthals and should be blighted from the earth anyways.
Yeah, our opinions should be confiscated and buried somewhere.
Needless to say, Lake County is really feeling the love of the entire country, and they can all just go fuck themselves. So
not on the right side, not on the left side, but right in the middle.
And if you thought we were difficult to deal with before this, ought to be really peachy now. And this is tell you how much I'm on the hook. Fuck your pillow.
What? Oh yeah. Hi, you're welcome. Yes.
It's kind of interesting. Remember, it was probably close to 10 years ago now. When the Bundys.
It's been 10, maybe that long.
And their cattle grazing rights. Do I have that right? Or was that a different
It was
family?
a huge cluster. They were actually said they were in Burns on behalf of the Hammonds, but they were like
Hammonds. Yeah, the Hammonds.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
at that time, I remember my friends in New York would it was all over national news. They were sending me all these opinion pieces and they had opinions on it. And the most common opinion was that land is for all of us to enjoy. It's federal land. And you would never go there. Those people, they don't know.
No, and there's the Multiple Use Sustainable Yield Act of 1976 that says it's all for everybody anyways, with all sorts of uses.
So they're claiming it back then. Now it's basically on fire. I don't know if that exact area, but close enough. And they don't give a shit.
Of course. Yeah. Well said, Joel. Well said. Yeah.
Well, and the killer of it is I've never once not been nice to somebody. I mean, there are some outliner jackasses that are mean to the public on public land that either run cows or log or run oil or whatever. But this is a little known fact. The Bureau of Land Management collects $436 billion a year from oil leaks.
From oil leaks?
Leases.
Oh, lease.
Yeah.
Actually, I got that wrong. I added too many, but it's in the billions, more than most agencies would even have a budget for.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
They're pretty much and on this fire, I'm not even blaming the people that are in charge. I'm blaming the people. I'm not blaming these guys at the local level that are managing and everything. What I'm blaming is the politicians and everybody higher up. It's ridiculous to be mad at your local BLM office or Forest Service office because it makes no goddamn difference. Well,
it's all federal policy. We burned down a section of forest the size of Rhode Island in the last 2 weeks because of politics. Straight, plain and simple, just politics. Because we cannot come up with a good way to manage our natural resources that actually makes sense. And letting it go. Does anybody
actually know how? I'm curious.
Absolutely.
I've heard this argument that you could prevent forest fires through better management, but what is that better management? It's does somebody know what to do exactly?
Yes, there's literally thousands of people with PhDs. Half the shit I went to college for is just for that.
Are they doing that in any place in the world that would be a good example of they don't have as many fires as we do?
Yeah, private land. Most people who own their own forestry lands, pretty well managed.
Yeah, John Hancock Investment. They're a big forestry landowner, and you can get $130,000 a year job to manage one of their forest investments. And Warehouser used to do a good job.
No training.
Sorry, Joel. The problem with the fires now are they're taking out. This one probably took out 40,000 acre private timber company, just because it was allowed to get. It just got so big, and sometimes you just can't stop them. But between the forest that the federal government manages versus the private one, they'll probably have better salvage timber off of the private one.
Oh, absolutely. They'll actually salvage it. It won't be held up in a lawsuit for 50 years. But a lot of it boils down to the management of the site, Joel, how often there's a harvest, how they thin it, if there's a fire, how often they do that. If you only get a fire every 50 years, it's going to burn super hot. You shave once a year, it's going to be pretty difficult. You shave every day or two, it's going to be pretty fine. But yeah, there's science. This is the problem. This is what Richard was talking about. It's being managed by politics and not by scientific policy. When there's literally thousands of people who've studied these systems, numerous generations, about how they should run, and it gets held up due to environmental reasons or politics, because it's either the yes or the no. It's never like, let's just do it like it's supposed to be.
What I find fascinating, go ahead, Joel.
Why? I mean, so do environmentalists not understand good land management? Is that the problem?
That's a big part of
Like,
it.
why would they make such a poor decision if it was true?
Cognitive bias.
So there's this concept of like, you have to leave it natural. Well, man's been here for a while, so and there's not really a way to keep it quote unquote natural. So you have to thin it, you have to harvest it, you have to replant it, you have to burn it sometimes, you have to let it burn sometimes. So you can't have this completely hands-off approach, because a long time ago man got involved. So that's part of the issue. You know, that's just the way it is. It's not going to revert back to whatever their thoughts on a pristine environment are. So that's a large part of it. And then multiple uses also.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that the Native Americans had land management policy also, before
Absolutely.
our white asses ever got here. So
Yes, it evolved that way. I use this example all the time because it's one of the few things I remember from Range 101 or forestry, I guess it would have been. But like pine trees, their cones only open up when they get hot. Like a fire is what opens up a pine tree cone. So it drops out the seeds so new plants can come to life. That's a built-in system in a pine tree. Think about that. They evolved in a fire system then in some way, shape, or form. I think that's pretty damn cool. So yeah, it's you know, some people don't like logging apparently, but that's part of the tool that you can use to take out after a burn comes through. You come take the dead trees out because they're good for a while. They are commercially viable for a while, but not 20 years later when it's been tied up in court and can't go anywhere. Then they just all rot and fall down. And then you start getting beetles come in and everything starts dying off. And then when you drive down the road now and you see like a nice green forest and there's just this big patches of brown all the way through it. That's beetle just killing trees. So, you know, again, it's about the management, and it gets hung up in the halls of Congress where it does not belong at all. So it's not a new problem, that's for sure.
And I would like to say that logging and ranching are not without sense, but we are sure a hell of a lot smarter than we were 60 years ago. And those guys were probably a lot smarter than the guys that were 60 years before them. I mean, it's all an evolution, and we get better at, but you can't hold modern ranchers accountable for the sins of somebody that long since been in the ground, or loggers for that matter. And the Forest Service did a lot of shady shit with the logging industry. It pretty much, I call it cultural genocide with the spotted owl. They pretty much destroyed an entire culture in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And what did we gain from it? Now, instead of harvesting our forests, we're just burning them to the ground.
I'd say like I know remarkably little about the politics and to ever have formed a somewhat informed opinion on the subject. But it strikes me as like that's something that's where like more media coverage should focus on. They don't ever talk about that sort of thing. The only thing they do, and it's so simplistic and stupid now that I'm thinking about it, is they just say, oh, global warming, let's do another fucking article on global warming because there's a fire.
Yeah.
It just skips over any other potential solution to it.
Yeah. It's just finger pointing at that stage, and that's all it is. And at this point too, like, what does that even mean?
Well, the thing that really pissed me off this week is they just lumped everybody in my community in as climate deniers, like blanket statement.
Yeah.
Blanket statement that we're all climate deniers, and we're the reason. This is what I'm learning about. Like,
you're on mute, Richard. I don't know. We just turned off. I didn't touch anything, man. You're on a great roll. Yeah. This is what I'm learning. Like, you can make that shit up, man. Yeah. Like, and what the hell? Like, if I believe in climate change or not, how the hell does that impact what climate change does? Like, seriously, is it like some kind of mental
Yeah, you
global
could believe
Zen
in climate
kumbaya?
change and accept that climate change is a thing and be like, but in the meantime, guys, let's do the responsible thing with
But I
our
mean, like,
forest.
just the fact that, like, okay, I don't think it's real. Does that cause a fire to erupt somewhere? No. Like, again,
No,
like,
well, they'll point to that as evidence of it being real.
that
It's
are
pretty
far
crazy out
fire.
here. It's pretty crazy out here in Eastern Oregon with the heat and lack of moisture.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is like I don't think this is a normal year.
It's a cycle, man. I swear
Yeah,
to
I know.
God.
I wouldn't automatically just be like, oh, blame that on global warming. It's
Yeah.
sure it's a lot more complicated than that. But
Yeah. Richard, you
yeah,
back?
it's just
I'm
kind of
back.
frustrating right now to think about how they just gloss over every other subject. Because if there is global warming, you could be like, I believe in global warming, but I also believe you need to. It's here. We're not going to reverse it in our lifetime. We better protect our forests the best we can by good land management until we can get the global warming thing straightened out.
I'm clapping in my head for you.
Very good.
Thank you. That was a good statement. I'll buy you
Thanks,
another
Richard.
beer.
Yeah. My question was like, how does my belief in global warming or anything else have any impact on what actually happens on the ground? Like, is it some kind of, Zen mind control thing? I submit to you, it is not. Just saying. What do you have, Richard? You were on a roll, and then we got you on mute. Now you're just like frothing. I can see you're just like a little crock pot ready to boil over.
No, I'm good. It's just I mean, we're talking about burning down in the same size as an entire state.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out here in the West in one of the most isolated or one of the most remote places that you can get in the continental United States. Like where I'm sitting right now is about as far away as you can get from a McDonald's in the lower 48 states. We're 90 miles or 100 miles. Oh, over 100 miles
Over 100,
from a
yeah.
Walmart. Over 130 miles from a McDonald's. I mean, there's less than one person per square mile in the county that I live in, and it's the size of New Jersey. And
that's a state for those kids playing along.
If we burnt down New Jersey and Rhode Island, it would be a goddamn big deal. But you take one of these bigger Western United States and you just burn it down, and it's it has been making national news because, it's the biggest fire out of 120 fires. But it's where if it blows up again, it could easily go to 1 million acres. And then we're talking like states the size of New York or Massachusetts we're getting into like Florida size states. So
it'd be kind of neat if New Jersey just burned down the whole fucking state.
I will dare say that's not the first time that's been uttered out loud. I know that for a fact.
I guarantee you it would be a big damn problem if New Jersey just burnt down.
Yeah, I don't think so. People wouldn't mess it up.
Maybe. I don't know.
The one thing that everybody has to keep in mind is the only value that we create in the United States comes from land and the natural resources off of that land. All other wealth is derived from that. Like you cannot make a computer, you cannot string ones and zeros together without some sort of natural resource. So everything our economy relies on all comes out of the ground, or it comes off these natural resources. And the federal government in Oregon and Nevada own 98% of the land in either state. Mm-hmm. And so they have a tremendous responsibility to safeguard the resources on those on any state that they own over 50% of. They have a tremendous responsibility to protect that wealth, because like the public lands are everybody's. It's also future wealth, and it's better than gold in the bank. So It's just you cannot name one thing that doesn't come from a natural resource. So all wealth is derivative of land. What?
Philosophy.
Well, I mean, you can't create it. Well, I guess you could create wealth from that.
Maybe.
But you still have to get the
spoken
calories,
word.
brain. Yeah. So, but yeah.
I get what you're saying.
So, I gotta help my wife real fast.
We'll be here. We'll be here.
I guess I'll bring it with me.
You traveling, man?
So you're not having to be by yourself.
Well, it's worse things happen to a fella, but
I think earlier I got kicked off. I had my iPad sitting in the sun.
You get too hot, you think? Is that what happened?
Yeah. When I went to pick it up, it just about burned me. Like shut down.
You kind of had a bit of a Forrest Gump to you. Something burned me. That's what that reminded me of.
More like Rain Man.
Yeah, well, a little bit of that, but something bit me. You want to be more like Rain Man than Forrest Gump if you had to take your choice? Which would you be?
There's a pool.
Nice. Just like to remember.
Shoot, I guess I'd rather be Forrest Gump.
Me too. Me too.
Forrest Gump lived a great life, except for he had that fucking bitch Ginny. Ginny was a terrible person.
Yes. Yes, she was. She was quite just awful to poor Forrest. Yeah. That never happened to come
dying in that movie. I've always wondered, like, I think they kind of imply that she died of AIDS, right?
Yeah, but then I've read several things that they said that she didn't, but they thought it was just hepatitis, I think is what the thing was, the consensus, if you will. Yeah. So I had a random question, Richard. Would you rather be Forrest Gump or Rain Man?
Rain Man.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Autism.
Yeah. That's fine.
Savant syndrome.
Yeah, I think I'd probably choose Forrest just because he seemed happier. That's all.
That's true.
Yeah, but interesting. That might be like a poll question or something we'll throw on Facebook later. Would you rather be Rain Man or Forrest Gump? So
yes.
I like that. I'm looking at my notes and be like, Forrest or Rain what? Forrest, Rainforest versus Forest. Yeah, when I'm going back through, I have no idea what I was talking about. So it doesn't usually stop me though. So yeah, natural resource management goal. No, that was the Doberman that got it, wasn't it? Well, they both got it, I guess, but the Doberman's the one that jumped back in the pickup.
So they finally got the stink off him.
They yes, the Doberman finally stopped smelling sometime last week.
Excellent.
But he has a sore on his nose that won't heal, and I think it's skunk related.
Really got blasted. Yeah. Oh, well, that's a good reach around. Let's jump into the entertainment spotlight because this is Richard's, and I watched this son of a bocce, and that's why I'm wearing the beanie because my head hurts and it's steaming. So Richard picked a YouTube video called Math Has a Fatal Flaw. Actually, it turns out several fatal flaws. Well, I guess it's one in general, but so I don't know how many billion views this thing is seen on the YouTube. But Joel, did you get a chance to watch it?
Watched about 5 minutes of it.
It hurt, didn't it?
Yeah. I thought they were going to go into the whole thing about how math is like, they're teaching in schools like,
it's racist.
Math is now like subjective and racist.
Yeah,
I thought that's what they were going to talk about. But
that'll be next. We'll have to find one of those why math is racist because it steams my clams just to think.
Well, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, there's some things you can't know. Like yeah, that's infinite. That's the whole concept of infinity.
Well, even like the prime number theorem, like it's not really any pattern, and you don't really know how far it goes. That's one of the things.
That's the thing. It goes for infinity.
I know, but we can't grasp that as most humans can't grasp infinity. You want to know, like math, like gives you like that's the whole idea of math. Like I can see a pattern and I can eventually figure it out because if I have a known, I can find why it does that, and then I can predict it. That's what math is in my twisted brain. So that's the problem, is like, how do you prove it, or how come it doesn't fit? Or the whole thing about proving yourself, what was that, the self-proving prophecy or whatever they called it, Richard?
Yep.
Which, the office reference was the best about, Jim is my enemy, but then the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Wait a minute, Jim's my friend, but no, he's my enemy. So yeah, it's
funny, like a somebody that knows nothing about math talking to a mathematician. It's like, have you thought about dividing infinity by like 1,000 and then do it again, get a more manageable number?
take the log of it if that helps you. But yeah.
I just like that there was two different values for infinity, the natural number and the real number.
Oh,
That blew
yeah.
my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not all affinities are created equal.
Well,
not all infinities are created equal. Yeah, because there was like the natural one and the integer one or something.
What is the natural versus real?
Yep.
What is that?
So the natural numbers are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the real numbers are 5.42 pi. Anyway, it's called the infinite hotel room problem, and you can't ever, you can just keep creating more and more infinities. But if the natural numbers have a different infinity than the real numbers. The real number infinity is significantly greater than the infinity for natural numbers.
There's some shit on this that'll make your head just absolutely steam clamps, dude. I swear to God. I was just like, I only watched about 15 minutes and then I had to turn it off, and then I had to watch the next 15 like 30 minutes later. I watched Alone, Math. So, because that's probably the stuff I would think about if I was on Alone.
Yeah, that's where they come up with it. Isolation.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it just opens up like the sets problem. What if you have a set that you were part of that set? How can you measure that? And how many sets of yourself can you put in that set? Yeah.
It's all inclusive, then you can be in it. But if you're in it, then it's not. It was, anyways, like it was some to the end power thoughts about math, but hurt my brain.
I did like the conclusion, is that even with all this, we think that math is pretty well, we got it nailed down. In reality, we don't really have it nailed down. But it's all these questioning of the different, why math doesn't always work, that has allowed us to like come up with the quadrant, or what's the collider in
Hedro fighter.
Yeah. Anyways, because we keep trying to perfect math, we're actually getting so much better at it. But it's the things that we don't understand that push math to make us better at math. So what I understand versus what Richard's son or grandson will understand will be, I'll seem like a simpleton. Like there's physically we can only run 100 yards so fast, or bodies are only designed to go so fast. And without augmentation, we're never going to break a certain barrier. Or we might evolve over another 1,000 years. It might be an 8-second 100-mile, but we're not going to advance. Math is always going to, every generation, we're going to have a better grasp of what math is.
Maybe, yeah. Or you just advance. So yeah, like you're saying, you advance too far in math, and then there's fewer and fewer potential people that have the brain capacity to solve the more and more difficult problems of our times.
Now that I can believe.
I think as they're developing these, like Google has a pretty, from what everybody's guessing, a pretty functional quantum computer. Like so functional that we don't have a power source that can run it. That's how much it can compute. So as our ability to compute more and more data
How much power do you need? 1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts. What was Einstein? What was I thinking?
Yep. So, yeah, but I mean, I think that in our lifetime, we'll see quantum computing and the amount of data that we're collecting, like significantly. It might be what obliterates cancer is not a medicine, but math and quantum computing. Because like they could probably crunch enough patterns and enough scenarios to figure just out, like it'd be like that Minority Report where you can see what's happening into the future.
Sure.
Yeah. So you could see why somebody's developing cancer before it even metastasizes.
Well, that's what genomics is doing now in large part.
But how much math is in genomics?
All.
Yeah.
All the math?
All the math. We have it all. It's all here.
Genomics is basically a new beyond binary. How many letters represent is it all the letters or just a set of letters? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, A, C's, T's, and G's, but it's their combination that tells you what you're looking for.
Yeah. So just when we sequence the DNA code, we created so much data that, like, what is it that we found out that why some people don't like cilantro?
It's genetic. Like it tastes like soap or it tastes good or not like soap. Yeah. Basically, you're hardwired for that.
We could have never figured that out without computers and math.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You build it. All just builds prediction models for it.
But instead of taking a foreign language in college, I took symbolic logic, which they talk about in that video. And you want to talk about screwing your mind? That's something else. I mean, I'd probably have to spend another 6 months just so I could get back to where I was after taking 2 semesters of that class.
Oh man.
But I always got a kick out of it that it counted as a foreign language. So. I love me a loophole.
Yes. Yeah, it was I appreciate it, Richard. I think it was a good one because A, it was like 30 minutes, which I think is cool. B, it's just so mind-blowing to see like a vast majority of what they talked about was done well before computers were even on the scene. As far as their theorems and things they were talking about, the way they did things and looked at them. Like not towards the very end, it was like, oh yeah, then this guy needed actually a computer to be invented so he could figure this out. But vast majority was like, just by hand, basically.
Alan Turing came up with the infinite tape and the Turing machine, mm-hmm. Completely theoretical, and yeah. And what happens today?
It's crazy. And then the one about the game of life, that just absolutely blew my mind. The 3 squares. I'd never seen that. That was insane.
I couldn't. I stopped watching after that segment.
That's about where I stopped the first time because I was like, "Oh wow!"
I don't. I'm like, well, I didn't get it to begin with. They're like, I was like, are they explaining the rules of Minesweeper to me?
Almost, yeah.
And then they just started like, look what happens. Like, what are you doing? I don't get what you're doing there. It's like I was always terrible at math. Like in high school, I remember they had made us do it was like, this is an art project. Why are we doing this? You make a, I don't know, hexahedron or many-sided figure out of a piece of paper, and
mm-hmm.
couldn't figure that out for the life of me. I just ended up crumpling it up and stapled it together, and I turned it in.
I participated. That's a C. Yeah. I feel you, brother. Yeah, that's hilarious.
So I went into finance in college. That was a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. If math sucks, then you should. There's arithmetic and then there's math. So I think a lot of finance is on that side, not necessarily, not always for sure, but the baseline stuff, I would think. So yeah, I think. I better mention this quickly too. Probably gonna have to go to you, Joel, or we might have to go to a reader request. But Ralls was supposed to have Entertainment Spotlight, and he is probably on the Baylor Spotlight at the moment. So somebody's gonna have to pitch in if we want to keep that rolling. So if you got something outstanding, I do have a reach request from a couple weeks ago we could also fall back on. So I thought I'd give you some warning, so when we get there, we could make it happen. So
is this the Magnificent Seven?
you are correct, sir. Yes.
Possibly one of the most analyzed movies in history.
Yeah. I don't, and it's weird. I never thought about that. I usually like way different plane on the movies. Yeah. So.
Well, starts with Seven Samurai.
Yeah, that's true.
What movie are you talking about right now?
Magnificent Seven, Yul Brynner, all those guys, Steve McQueen.
The whole dynamic between Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen is amazing.
And I haven't seen it for ages either. And the remake was pretty cool, but it's nothing like the original.
Did we talk Snowy River already?
A few weeks ago, but Joel had recently watched it, so we were going to save that either for best thing of the week or for something.
Okay.
But we did have the topic of the week, which we kind of covered again on the wildfires, but I had saw this ad today on LinkedIn, and it was from Volvo, and I sent it to you guys, and it's just basically shows ice sloughing off a glacier, and it says Volvo will be all electric by 2040 or whatever, and that's it. And then there was 1,800 comments on that by 10 o'clock this morning, which LinkedIn is quickly turning into Facebook with a tie. It's really hurting my feelings. But the topic I thought for the week would be like electric cars. Are they the environmental answer? Because that's what, I'm seeing all these FedEx ads about quote unquote carbon neutral by 20, whatever. That Volvo one just came out today that I saw it anyways, about all electric. And so I thought it'd be a good topic of like, is that the environmental answer, so to speak? And I think
what a ridiculous. Okay, if you think that is gonna fucking help one bit,
dude,
how do you even talk to that person anymore?
It's
Conversation.
Not person. It's not one person. It's droves.
Yeah, I know. I don't like it doesn't matter. What we're burning personally in gas, that doesn't have any effect. Or it's such a drop in the bucket, I should say, of the overall pollution, right? Like, I wonder what percentage of pollution comes from combustion engines. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Where do you go to look that up now? Like, everything's so upside down and jacked up, dude. It's got to be small.
I'm sure you could find it on Google.
Well, I'm going to trust the shit out of that.
Yeah, that's true.
We just shut down the world for the past 18 months. Shouldn't everything be absolutely perfect already? Like, why is there even hurricanes this year? Like, why is there wildfires? Like, we had all combustion has been at its lowest level. It's been probably in the past 200 years, this past 2 years with Operation Shut Her Down. And we seem to have worse summer than ever. So what's up with that, Maynard?
I also don't get the pushback on the idea, because the truth is, and I don't think anybody knows for sure, but we're going to eventually run out of oil. Like, it's a finite resource.
Dude, I was thinking of this the other day as I was driving down the road. Like, when I was in school way back, like little, it was physically taught that oil came from dinosaurs. That's what we were taught.
Well, breaks down carbon, right? Any broken down carbon.
Yeah, but physically it came from dinosaurs. That's what we were first told. Like,
yeah, well,
and it's like, wait a minute, that's not even possible. Like, there's no way it's still here. Like, it's part of the Earth cycle, if you ask me.
The dinosaurs are just in a mass grave.
Apparently, yeah. So, but anyways, like, it's part of the Earth for one. But more specifically, back to the point about electric cars being the solution. Like, how? Like, electricity comes from somewhere. If you just want to talk about fuel versus fuel, like, nobody likes hydro. Nobody likes nuclear. Coal is way evil. So I don't know where solar is cool. That's great. Yeah. But I don't think every house is going to have a Tesla roof. I doubt it. So that's one problem. The other quick one is like environmentally, like, when that car is ready to be done, like, what what do you do with those batteries, dude? That's one of the worst things running around right now on the highway is all the batteries in those electric cars. And like, I'll be the first to say I think electric cars are badass and fun to drive, but like
Well,
environmentally, holy crap, man. I think
I
it's
think that
68 Bronco Charger's better off than that.
there's going to be people that want it for the environmental reasons, and it's like, all right, let them believe whatever they want to believe. Bottom line is, I think electric cars will be pretty neat once they get good at them, because as soon as you can, like, and maybe they already can, I don't know, I don't read about it much, but doesn't it take a while to fill it up at a charging station?
That depends on if you got the supercharger station at the Tesla ones or whatever. Yeah.
It probably still be like 10 or 15 minutes, wouldn't it?
Oh, more than that.
Oh,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I mean, so like, I'm not gonna drive from somewhere to, from here to Kansas, and
You can. You just got to
have
stop
to stop
every
and wait
200 to 300 miles and wait for
an
probably
hour.
40 minutes to an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't make sense if you're gonna be driving on highways. But like, I can't wait. Actually, like the F-150 Lightning, that looks awesome. It goes super fast.
They get a tremendous amount of torque. Like
Yeah.
train engines run on electricity. That's the diesel is the generator that runs the electric motor on a train engine. Like that's how cool that is. Like they have a tremendous amount of power. But and yeah, and if I put a solar in with a Tesla wall, I'll probably have a Tesla car because it's like basically free for me to drive to work and back. But as far as like that's the national campaign and that's going to fix everything, no.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Like even if you think A, there's something to fix, to B, like this is the answer. C, most people when you ask them like, well, where's the electricity come from? Their brain shuts off. They go like, the building. It's magic apparently, and then this summer in California they're like, hey, don't charge your cars because we need all the power for the grid so you can run your air conditioner. So like it's far from.
Did they say that? I didn't hear about
Yes.
that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Which you kind of had to giggle. So but yeah, even if you take like just the environmental impact of the car when it goes back to the junkyard or catches on fire or has a wreck, I think is one thing to consider. If I got a 78 Buick Roadmaster station wagon, I drain the oil out of everything and it gets smashed into a pancake, like it's pretty inert at that point, really. The authentic imitation leather and the wood vinyl siding, pretty low impact overall. It gets all taken down to B&K and ground up in a little powder, but a freaking electric car, just the windings, just the batteries alone. And like, going back to what Richard said about natural resources coming from somewhere, like that battery stuff, that comes from the ground. Like that stuff's not made synthetic yet. So it has to come from somewhere. And I doubt you're running.
Even if it's synthetic, it still comes from the ground.
Exactly. Thank you. That's a great point, Richard. Yeah. So if I'm running.
Lithium is when I worked in the oil field, my tool ran on a lithium battery, weighed about 6 pounds. I had to go through a training every year that was like, I had to take a test and pass it with 80%. And it was usually probably all in all, I'd have to do 12 years of lithium battery training. And because they're highly explosive, they explode and you can't put them out with water. So the lithium battery to me is a real problem. We're sending Teslas out with 600-pound lithium batteries, and like there's fire departments in the United States that aren't prepared to. They don't have the foam that it takes to neutralize a Tesla battery if it's burning, and it'll burn a hole through the concrete that it's on before they can put it out. And some places have had just let it completely burn, and the fumes that a lithium battery put off are incredibly toxic. So the other interesting thing, another little stat, is there was a leach field, and I'll try and find these links for Micah before he puts them up, but China's where most of our lithium comes from, and it's a lot like gold mining. There's huge ponds, and you have to separate the lithium from the other different types of mineral that you mine it out of. So there's these huge leach fields where you have to took all the toxic stuff that it takes to get the lithium out. And one of those ruptured in China and went into a river, and it sterilized the river, killed all the fish, and it killed 60 people downriver.
Damn.
And they're going to do that here in Nevada because, like, we don't think through all the consequences of lithium, but I think gold mining is toxic, and there's a huge environmental problem with gold mining in Nevada. But we're going to give lithium a pass because it's going in a Tesla.
Yeah.
And I have utmost respect for Elon, but and I think that he knows the folly of what he's doing, but I think he's meeting a demand, and I think he understands very much all the implications that go with it. And so I think he knows that that's what people are ready to make a trade-off on. And another interesting stat is, I think it was Norway. I'll have to look this up. But they are the most EV, or a couple of years ago, they were the leading country for electric vehicles. Anyways, the average electric vehicle to charge is the equivalent of running a refrigerator for a month. A refrigerator is one of the highest cost utilities that you have in your house running on a daily basis. And every time you charge an electric vehicle, it's the equivalent of running a refrigerator for an entire month. And so what happened is Norway, or whatever country, I can't remember, I'm sorry, they had to bring on 3 decommissioned coal-fired plants to keep up with the electricity demand of the EV. And Germany has the same problem, but they've banned coal-fired plants, so they are now outsourcing their coal to keep their EV vehicles running to neighboring countries, so that they don't have to run coal in Germany, but they still need that power to power all the electric vehicles that they've decided that they're going to.
Every time you learn something new, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? What a mess.
We're gonna ban coal fire, but we're gonna import it from somewhere else that uses coal fire. But it's okay because we still banned it here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty much against the banning of anything, really. Like, honestly, like either just don't use it or change it. But like when you ban something, I don't know. It just seems a little too permanent and short-sighted to me.
Problem through. You try to solve a problem, you think it through. You get people just like trying to make politicians making decisions, and people loud on Twitter, for example, demanding a right answer. But really, like, the only thing that can ever effectively figure it out, and everyone's heard it, is capitalism. Like, let the people that have their money on the line, let them make the decisions. What's most effective?
Let's emphasize not this bullshit capitalism we have now that's completely has government intertwined.
Yeah.
You can buy Congress, because I think people misconstrue what, like, they think that this is a free market system. This is absolutely not a free market. This is a completely.
I know. It should be free market.
Yeah, I agree, Richard. I agree.
But I think I do believe that in certain cases, like we're seeing this with the solar panels in Lake County, they want to put solar panel on ag lands, and we're like, no, absolutely not. The commissioners stood up to them and they said no more solar panels. So they moved it on to, and then the more that I got into it and the more I think about it, is here we have the classic situation of an urban area basically going to rural America and exploiting them for resources that they need.
Yep.
And in exchange, when I was talking to the guy from Blue Marmot, they were going to give us $500,000. And I was like, that's great. He goes, that's a really big boon for your thing over 30 years. And I had to say, dude, that is laughable. And so anyways, and he goes, no, it's going to be really good for your community. We donated $1,000 to the hospital. And it's about the time I hung up on him. But this is really what's happening is urban areas are continuing. And this is one of the biggest bad feedback loops we have in the United States is urban areas basically carnivorize rural America, they take resources and they don't pay the fair value of what they're taking for. And I know it's the sun, and if they want the goddamn sun so much, then cover your own city in solar panels and run on that in your footprint, but quit coming to my backyard and put in your solar panels in and then leaving us with the bill to clean it up. Put it in your city, and when they come dysfunctional, you clean it up, you pay for it, and you retrofit them. And quit pawning your crap and your technology off on rural America, because as far as I can tell, we're probably living the purest and the healthiest of any of you. And why is urban America feeding off the corpse of what's left of rural America? I think rural America should just stand up and say, hey, look, if you want this bullshit, you put it in your own city, because we're done.
Yeah, sounds a lot like wolves to me, Richard. Yeah, or to some degree, carbon credits. I'm just going to say it. Yeah.
I mean, if you also look at it, like, I get it. I'm on your side, but from their perspective, like you said earlier, there's one person per square mile down there, and we have 1 million people in our square mile. We're just gonna take your square mile and put our shit on it. What are you getting? I get that violates your land ownership rights, but from their perspective, it's well, there's more of us, and it's for the greater good.
Yeah, so take your greater good and shove it up your ass.
What I'm saying is, we've reached a point in our culture where you couldn't come take it.
Yeah,
I mean,
we couldn't.
Urban America physically had to come and take rural America's stuff. I don't think they have the capacity to do it. I mean, if you take the government out of it, and they needed to, they wanted to, nobody can farm.
Richard, farming's easy, remember?
Yeah. Most people can't fix a combustible engine. Most people can't weld. Most people are really bad in bar fights, and so
they don't even get up early enough to go do the work, man. Yeah.
What percent of urban America is anti-gun? So I see a lot of fallacies here. It's like, if it came right down to it, it would be really hard for somebody in Portland to come down and take the land that I ranch on.
I love the welding, agronomics, bar fights.
I've spoken about him before. A comedian. One of my favorite comics is Ryan Hamilton. Have you guys watched him?
Yeah.
He has a bit. He has a special on Netflix called Happy Face. And he's from like rural Idaho. I think all of Idaho is basically rural, but he's from like southeast Idaho or something. And he lives in New York City. And he's like, I keep hearing people say about New York City, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. He's like, one person said that, and everybody else, all other New Yorkers, just went, that's true. He's like, I don't think it's true. I'm from Idaho. I don't think you can make it in Idaho.
Matter of fact, what you know about New York does you a shit bit of good in Idaho.
I don't know what happened to him. He went out looking for a bagel at 3 a.m. and
he left for a pagoda, never saw him. Yeah.
I've been to Riggins, Idaho, and I know I can't make it there. So
bring your own cooler. Yeah, that's really funny, Joel. It's also very true.
You gotta watch that. You gotta watch that special if you haven't seen it.
I have that part didn't ring a bell, so maybe I haven't seen that one.
It was good.
Yeah, it's just again to take a half a step back to again, this is all about, I think, what the grand plan is. The more division and bickering and infighting that can be fueled and stemmed, the current people in power are happier. And I try to resist that every day, and it's so difficult though. And that's not the whole everything, but that's a lot of the stupidity we see running rampant at this point. It's certainly fueled by that. We've always had some differences, but I think if you have 3 people in a room, it's going to be one thing. If you have 3 million people scattered across listening to something else, it's completely different, even though it's the same. If you took the same exact ratio of people, like, it would still be just asinine everywhere.
I got my solar panel conversation. The guy immediately texts me afterwards, and he goes, I don't understand what I said wrong.
Oh, awesome.
And he goes,
explain it to him.
you guys, why won't you answer me? And I was just ignoring him. He left me a bunch of voicemails and called me a bunch of times. And, I said, because, you know, I'm just a dumb hick. I'm out here kicking dirt and chewing tobacco, and I don't have much time for you.
Just whittling on my stick. Yeah.
He's like, I wasn't treating you like a dumbass. And I was like, look here, buddy, if you want to talk to me, you can come down here, look me in the eye, and shake me in the hand and tell me you're going to be a good neighbor. And I got to give him credit. He's going to come down here.
Awesome.
But he texted me the next day. He's like, I've never had a conversation like that. And I think more of rural America has to have those conversations because, you know, I think that we're really trained to be polite and to accommodate people and in rural America because it's a upbringing thing. And I think that there's a certain amount of people in this world that take advantage of that.
I would. If I was a dirtbag, scumbag, whatever, never going to see you again, I'm just going to make some money and leave. Yeah.
But I think that I honestly believe that they think they're being righteous. And I think the condescending thing is
they're there.
Yeah. And he didn't realize I finally had to stop him at one point of the conversation. And he goes, I said, Lake County is per capita one of the highest educated places in all of Oregon. What kind of stupid hick do you think you're talking to? I said, fuck, I have an MBA. So, anyways. So, that call to get support fell hollow. And so, yeah. But, no, it's just it's time for rural America to stop being nice to all these jackasses.
Yeah, they can just go pound sand, literally. Oh, another text message came through. Keep us updated, Richard. Is it for the bride or the seller guy? You don't have to say, by the way.
Yeah, he does. You can tell he's not on many work meetings because he is the worst among us with being on mute all the time.
Yeah, there must be like it's like pressure point or something on his phone. I don't know.
He's a rancher. He's not on Zoom every day. Like
apparently, but Richard Zoom's probably more than now. He's back. Yeah, he just has like this weird.
You'd be surprised how many Zoom calls I was. 3 weeks ago, I made some ladies from the UN cry.
Yes, that's international incident. That's my boy right there. Oh, so I think we can agree that environmental or electric cars probably not the immediate answer, if there is one.
However, it would be fun to have one.
Dude, like I said, if I get my shit together and I put Tesla panels on my house and buy a couple of Tesla Powerwalls, I'll probably have a Tesla car. Like, why not? Like my commute is 15 minutes one direction. You know, if I want to spend all that money, like right now, my Toyota gets decent mileage, so I don't really care. But if
the Cybertruck wasn't so goddamn ugly.
Yeah, exactly. There's a new isn't there the GMC's coming out with the electric what's their pickup going to be called? Shit, I can't think.
Finale?
Yeah. No, it's the Hummer. It's the new Hummer pickup.
Oh yeah.
It looks pretty squirrely. So I'm just saying, yeah, there's options. I'm not against it. I'm just like, don't sit here and like show me the crumbling picture of a glacier, which happens all the time, and then say we're going electric by 20 whatever, so all is well. Namaste, bitches. And I'm just like, just kills my guts.
What happens to our international relations when we become fully reliant on China to supply our lithium? Like, what happens when they
did we not learn anything that the more self-reliant we are, the better we are? Like at all? Like in anything possible? Like, hello, kids. Like anything from the past 2 years has taught us that the more reliant we are on things that we make ourselves and have in country, the absolute better off we're going to be.
Yeah.
Energy, medication, components, whatever, it has to be here. Like that's essential. So, but we're completely turning a blind eye to that.
Cars run off those liberal tears in your cup.
Yeah, they would be probably getting some pretty good mileage. Yeah. So.
What's that noise? Is that me?
It's Richard getting a text.
Sorry.
That's my guess. No, I think it's we're.
I just thought something was wrong with my deal.
Yeah, you should probably get your new phone. Yeah. I found a word of the week too, so we're good there. Far Reaches word of the week brought to you by the Reachers. Cacophony. The word of the week is cacophony. Anybody heard it? I've heard it before. I've used it.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
It's like Avengers Cacophony.
No, that's Space Jam cacophony. Yeah.
Is it like is it like you kind of get in a pickle?
It's the bringing together of people, I believe.
Yeah, it's an unpleasant mixture of sounds, harsh noise, or discord, which could also be a combination of people. Yeah, indeed. So, cacophony. It just has like a interesting flow to it, so I thought it was interesting.
And what's its root?
Portuguese. I don't know. It's not on here. Sorry. I found
like
I got the cheap dictionary.com, but if you'll give me a second, I can probably word search it somewhere else and find a more robust answer, because I often like to know the roots of something.
Well, epiphany is probably it's pretty close to the opposite of it.
Epiphany would be probably the antithesis thereof, would one say?
Pretty close.
A combination of discordant sounds, specifically in rhetoric, a faulty choice or argument arrangement of words. I like that one even better. Yeah. Comes from a joining of the Greek prefix kak, K-A-K, meaning bad, with phone, meaning sound. So bad phone. Symphony, which means harmony or agreement, is basically the antithesis of cacophony. So you were on the right track, Richard. I like it. Thank you, Ms. Falsner, for teaching us root words. So we had our topic of the week. We had our word of the week. Does anybody have a just down and out definite entertainment spotlight for next time?
I'm good with Magnificent Seven or whatever Joel wants to go with.
Any insight, Joel?
No, I don't have anything top of mind.
All right, well.
How about this? You can either watch Magnificent Seven, but if you've seen that, you can watch Seven Samurai.
Ooh, nice. I like it.
And then after that, then you'll just watch Seven. So you take one word away every time.
I was trying to think. There's some other like Magnificent Seven and Seven Samurai ripoffs, but I can't. They don't come to mind.
Oh, Tarantino talks about them all the time.
Isn't this a Tarantino movie?
No.
Kelly's Heroes is basically the same. World War II.
Oh, really? Yeah, Telly Savalas and the whole gang. Yeah, great movie. I've seen that.
Dirty Dozen, pretty much the same. But I think that Dirty Dozen was based on a real life event.
Dirty Dozen was one of my all-time favorite movies. Lee Marvin, like, stop touching me. Posey, the best. Yeah.
In a way, you could almost say Heat was too.
Yes. It would be. You have the group, you have the leaders, you have the chaos. Yeah. So
you have the Al Pacino character that plays the Eli Warwick.
Yeah. God dang. Really cool. We could just have that whole exploration. That's one of my I'm not sure if you watch this podcast or not, listen to it, but it's called the what is it called? It's by man, it's been a long week and it's only Tuesday, I think, right? Bill Simmons does a podcast, Rewatchables. And they do like they call it like rewatchables because it's like a movie, like if you're clicking through and you see it, like they're gonna watch it. And so like it comes out every Tuesday. So like Fight Club is this week, but they've done almost 200 episodes of the rewatchables, and they just totally deep dive the ever living crap out of each movie. And they have certain
the Fight Club.
Yeah, well, a lot of times it's tied in with like it's the 30th anniversary or 20th or etc. So yeah,
you know,
it's one of my favorite podcasts.
You know, I've been watching a lot of Guy Ritchie. For some reason, I've developed a real affinity for the movie The Gentleman.
I've not seen it yet.
It's Matthew McConaughey, one of his best performances, and it's one of Guy Ritchie's best movies, I think. The Wrath of Man, I just watched that. That's pretty good too.
That looked really good.
But I would say Snatch has a lot of parallels with The Magnificent Seven.
Oh, cool. Damn, I really got to watch it again. I did not. It's been a long time since I saw the original. So, Party Mom, faithful listener in California, Party Mom, she's the one that suggested Magnificent Seven. So this one goes out to you, darling, and I hope you enjoy it. So, outstanding. We're going to skip down to our best thing of the week. Joel, let's hit you with the, I want to hear what you thought about Snowy River.
Yeah, I've been bad-mouthing that movie for years. Look at bees. So I came up to the pool last night, sat in one of these chairs up here after dark, and smoked a J and turned on
Nice.
Man from Snowy River, and I was like, oh, let's see what this is about. And I was hooked early. It's one of the, like, honestly, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. It was that good.
Really?
But the funny thing is, I was thinking about it, is like, I always thought it was terrible, but I think it's because my brothers watched it when I was a little kid all the time, and when I was 8 years old, I thought it was stupid.
Sure.
And then I realized, like, my entire life since then, I've basically taken movie recommendation advice from an 8-year-old, even though I'm that 8-year-old.
But I wouldn't trust myself either.
Like, Joel, you don't want to watch that movie because remember, it was dumb. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
One of your first picks was Johnny or Short Circuit.
What?
From 8-year-olds.
Yeah, one of your first movie picks was Short Circuit.
Oh yeah, it's a great film.
So it said it caught you right off the bat. Like, what was the first thing you were like, oh crap, this ain't actually that bad?
Well, I got intrigued when they were, at first it was pretty silly when they were cutting down the tree together and just smiling at each other for some reason.
Yeah. Just a little friendly dad-son competition, you know?
And then I was like, this movie's gonna be good, because within the first 10 minutes of the movie, you see this like wild leader of the wild horses doing crazy things twice early on. They come running through, and I'm like, I knew early on the dad was going to get killed. I thought in the first scene when he goes out to the barn, first time, I thought he was going to get killed, but I'm like, this dad's dying anytime. He died the next day. I'm like, he's going to get hit and killed by a log. And then that happened, and then when the kid tried to go back home, and a random group of dudes were like, you can't live here anymore because you're not a man or something. I was like, I was caught. I wanted to see what was going to happen. Which they never came back to that group of guys. But I never saw them again.
Right? I think it was just like implied that
no, they came and helped him run the horses in the end.
That's who he was with, chasing down the wild horses?
They were with, is it Quincy?
Clancy.
So Clancy came with this ensemble of guys, and that was them.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, I think that movie was like, I bet it's so good because, like, there's so many people in that movie that are like legends. Like the main guy, he's kind of, the whole movie's about him turning into a legend.
True.
And then Clancy was a legend because all the other ranch hands, they all were excited to meet him, right? Mm-hmm. And then the guy that ran that ranch, he was a big deal, like rich. He has a cool backstory. And then the old gold miner, he has a cool backstory.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's his dad that died. He was a legend.
Pretty big deal.
Everybody in the movie except for the women folk. Everyone else.
The lady that owns the bar. She knew all the history that he went to right after he got kicked off. She told him what to do.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. I instantly thought about the little gal on Silverado for some reason. I'm like, is Richard like mixing up these movies? But no, you're right. Yeah.
She's in both movies. She's sort of like the sage.
Okay, so that's why my brain went there. That's okay. It's coming together now.
The storyline with Jess was like, I guess I chalk it up a little bit to being of the time. But it was supposed to be like it's like they purposefully avoided turning it into a powerful love story. Like it could have easily gone that direction, and it was trending that way. And every time it was trending into that sort of a movie, he would just put an abrupt end to it. He's like, "No, you can't come. Like this isn't going to work."
That made it powerful.
There was no further explanation. This isn't going to work, and then he just rides away.
That's what made it powerful, though.
The second movie is all in on that, though.
Oh,
that's me why I haven't watched as many times. Anyway,
it is a love story, but they don't. I think they try to keep it more of about him becoming a man than making the mistake of letting it turn into a love story.
And what does he know? Honestly, he doesn't know his asshole from his elbow either. That's part of the deal too. Like he just doesn't know.
What?
He doesn't about women or romance or anything. Like he's lived in the mountains his entire life, and like, maybe watched a stud and in a mirror, but like he just doesn't know either. He's just following his gut, I think, is part of the point.
And he got all his information from Spur, which is a lot like my upbringing in the plush store.
Basically, yes. Wallaby Stew and Crazy Uncles. That's kind of my story. So
But I don't know if it was me or the weed, but there were so many storylines in that movie that intertwined nicely. I just thought there were very few plot line errors. There were some,
but
that doesn't quite make sense. Like they built up the whole thing. I was waiting for the big reveal where he revealed that Jess is actually Spur's daughter.
Oh.
And then he just put an end to that entire speculation. Like, of course not. Like, oh.
But you kind of think it is, yeah. So I do think I'm gonna get you that T-shirt. I'm not sure if it was me or the weed. I think that's the T-shirt you need, or maybe a coffee mug. I think would be glorious. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fantastic movie.
That's awesome. Well, that's outstanding. Real quick, I got one reacher mail that got texted in just now, and then we'll go to Richard's best thing of the week. And this is from another faithful listener, Big D in Texas. The Dick and Louiseland podcast. Probably not going to get a Marconi Award. So yeah, thanks for that, a-hole. Yeah. So but I thought I'd pass it along instead. So Richard, you got a best thing there, buddy?
What is a Marconi Award?
It's for radio. It's like an Oscar for radio. I would place it at. So
yeah, we're probably not in that. Not even in the hunt. Well, we've been staying out in Adele this week. That's been awesome. So shut down the old Airbnb so the family could come out here. We're bringing cattle in from the desert. Another good thing is the lease that we have and that was in the path of the fire doesn't seem to be in danger any longer.
Oh, good.
And, well, it wasn't the best thing, but we had to stay here and not go to the country Desert Mountain grass-fed beef meeting. Which
that sucks.
Yeah. So, but then my diet is going good, 10 pounds. Feeling a lot better. And yeah, it's amazing when you cut carbohydrates and sugar. It's a really tough week and a half, and then
that sugar, man.
So, anyways, last time I was on the paleo diet, it was really strict, and you can tell it's sort of been eroded because now they you can have this many carbs now, and you'll still be all right. And but I'm sticking to the original one that I read in the book from the original guy that came up with it. So yeah, I can't remember what the name of the book is, but it's really, I think it might be the caveman diet. Anyways,
So you're just eating meat, and is that what you pretty much eat?
you can eat meat, vegetables, fruits, dairy, and pretty
Fruits,
much
huh?
anything natural. Well, I
Interesting.
mean, you got to cut your fruits down because it does have high sugar, but it's a
Mhm.
different. It has
Isn't there a lot of carbohydrates in vegetables?
Some of them.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
greens, probably, right?
yeah. So like a lot of broccoli, a lot of cauliflower. Avocados are great. I think that's technically a fruit. Like
It's got a
apples,
seed.
oranges has a lot of sugar. Onions are fine.
Have you ever
Like-
had a kidney stone?
No,
I feel like you're gonna get a kidney stone.
I did have to wean myself off of iced tea because I heard that it causes kidney stones, which was disappointing.
So do greens.
Well,
But it's like an iron buildup or something?
If you like change your diet dramatically, and then usually that involves incorporating more green vegetables and shit, like healthier food. For some reason, it causes more kidney stones. They told me to avoid green greens and iced tea.
well, the way I see it is,
But I still drink iced tea daily.
kidney stones are out. I'm going to go with kidney stones. At least that's temporary.
Either one sounds like something I'd sign up for. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, other than everything's going to hell, it seems like the fire's laid down, and looks like my smoke's coming from somewhere else. But yeah, things are good with the kid and the wife, and just been enjoying hanging out in Nadell and keeping it simple.
Sweet. I love it. That's awesome. Joel's gonna
Going
be
to the
swinging,
fridge.
or what's that?
Going to the fridge.
Oh, okay. Joel's making a BEERUN, I believe. My best thing of the week is just connecting with some family and an old friend I hadn't spoken to forever, and just exploring that and having fun. But family's always good to hang out with, especially when you haven't seen each other in a while, and just kind of just enjoy and do whatever you want. And then old friends, that's really fun too. So that's my two best things of the week. But yeah, I don't know. By golly, I think we're almost there. So anything else for the good of the order, Mr. Richard? You're still on mute. Must be some dynamic shit, but you're on mute. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm gonna go watch the rest of this horseshoeing and then go up and do a little pipelining. So
Outstanding. Well, with that, I think we're going to wrap this episode up. Thanks to everybody for always sending in good comments, and thanks to Party Mom for sending in our upcoming entertainment spotlight, which will be Magnificent 7. And Richard, send those links you're thinking of, and we'll get those in the updates down below, kids. So again, watch and share. This will be on the YouTube, on our Facebook. Audio versions, basically anywhere you can find a podcast, iHeartRadio to Spotify and everywhere in between. So keep those suggestions coming and keep on rolling, and we're gonna keep on reaching. So we'll see y'all soon. Thanks for joining.